Hello, hello. Whoa, that's loud. Sorry about that. Testing, testing, 1, 2. There we go. Hi, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. It's a graveyard shift. My name is Sergio Silva, also known as Sergito online. That's just Sergio Little. I'm Mexican, and that's what my family calls me. When I was making a Twitter name, I had no idea what to put on there, and so I became Sergito. I'm going to talk to you today about Web3 investment DAOs and some of the lessons that we can take from traditional finance to apply to this new space. So with that, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. My day job is Web3 business development. I lead that effort at Fireblocks. We are the largest infrastructure provider in the digital asset space. We help enterprises with their wallet infrastructure, smart contract security, and everything like that. So that is what I do from 9 to 5. And then from 5 to 9, I came into Web3 back in 2021. Early 2021, I was working on Wall Street at Barclays Bank. I was leading the equity derivative sales desk for equity structured notes, options, flow, ETF, and I came across the CryptoPunks while reading The Defiant. I was actually quite taken back by an article that noted somebody had purchased an ape punk for $140,000. And I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I had ever seen or read in my life, and I actually made a lot of fun about it. But I joined the Discord. It was my first time actually on a Discord, and I joined the Punks Discord in early February of 2021. I just fell in love. I fell down the rabbit hole, and I couldn't stop thinking about Web3 or NFTs ever since then. What I did was pretty much decided to stake my whole career on Web3 and NFTs. I left Barclays, where I had spent 7 years. I actually started at Goldman Sachs, where I had spent 5 years before that, so 12 years of Wall Street experience. I joined the good folks at Fireblocks and have been there for 2 years now. And one of the things that I noticed early on with Web3 and with NFTs was, there was this new way of coordinating, group activities online. For me, it was something that was very different from what I had seen in Wall Street, which is you're very siloed to the bank that you work at. You're very siloed to like the investment team that you're working with. There's no real ability to expand that surface area, right? So I remember a lot from my high school sophomore chemistry class that the best way to have a successful chemical reaction was to expand the surface area of the molecules. Right? That's why you need to heat up things to mix them together, because that expands the surface area. So Web3 immediately just jumped out to me, and I said, wait, we can expand our own surface area for investment, and we can do so by coordinating with other people around the world that might have different areas of expertise, that might have different access to different investment opportunities or different ideas, different regions, different time zones, and we can do it all over Discord. Yeah, sign me up. So me and some friends, we started Metaverse DAO. Well, actually, it was started before I got there, but I joined it early on. Metaverse DAO is a small DAO formed to invest in Metaverse land, just like the name implies. I was 20, 25 people, so not like your traditional DAOs that you think about, let's go buy the Constitution, or let's go buy a bunch of NFTs, and it's like 5,000 people on a Discord, nobody can do anything together. This was a smaller DAO where, we kind of all knew each other. And from there, we started building stuff on CryptoVoxels. We put together some NFT shows on CryptoVoxels. And we were approached by Flamingo DAO. I don't know if you've heard of Flamingo DAO. They're one of the largest NFT collecting DAOs. They were incubated by Tribute Labs. And they were looking to expand into the metaverse. And so they approached us and said, listen, we want to take you guys, fold you into a new DAO, and bring in more investors and continue doing what you're doing with more capital. So we were all for that. And we put together Neon DAO. Neon DAO is a combination of Metaverse DAO plus some investors from Flamingo DAO and Tribute Labs, as well as the team from Artifact, the Web3 arm of Nike now. This was before the acquisition. The Artifact team joined us as well, and so that's how Neon DAO was born. And personally, I'm also a project founder. I did a meme project focused on the Meebits. The Meebits are these beautiful 3D characters. They're metaverse ready. They're like 10 years ahead of their time, by the same team as the CryptoPunks. and now obviously owned by Yuga Labs. So I put together a project called Seize the Memes. It's a meme project, an addition art project. I wanted to have some skin in the game as far as like understanding, the founder side, the community management side. And finally, I'm a lover of math and culture. 1D equals 1B. I love crypto dick butts, and if you take anything away from this talk today, is that 1D always equals 1B. So let's dive a little bit more into this investment DAOs that I'm talking about. As I said before, not every DAO is created equally. My idea of the Web3 investment DAO is a DAO that's probably under 100 people. That also helps with like jurisdictional requirements, regulatory requirements for like an investment fund. I like to think of it more like a small group of friends, like a small VC on Web3 rails. It's a fund that's managed and owned by its members. It organizes and deploys capital, again, using Web3 rails. So, you can have, Discord's not really Web3, but, it's kind of like Twitter has become the bedrock for Web3 communication and coordination. So you can have your investment fund pretty much run on Discord channels, and we do that at NeonDAO, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. You can also just take a focused investment into an area. So Flamingo DAO, NFT art, metaverse, NeonDAO. The Tribute Labs team has also put together other DAOs that invest in like music NFTs through Sand DAOs and gaming NFTs through Ready Player DAO. Actually, we just put together another DAO. It's called Metropolis DAO, and it's going to invest in AI. So again, you're focused on one investment theme, and you can put together all the background, all the context, all the experience that the members have, and do that to deploy the capital together. Why I mentioned, a smaller group of people, you can play nice. I'm a firm believer in, making sure that you are within the bounds of the law, because I also want to be able to call the police one day if somebody's like trying to like carjack me. So, I think there's compromises to be made, especially when we're talking about finances. I do think that it's important for us to try to play as much as we can with like investor protection and the like. And if I were to define this DAO, this Web3 investment DAO, will be a group chat with a joint wallet, pretty much. What are the advantages? And I'm sure you're already thinking, okay, as he's talking about, ability to combine the diversity of backgrounds. So for example, NeonDAO, we have founders. I mentioned their artifact team, right? They're designers. They've had successful exits. We have artists. We have other types of builders. And what this does is just gives you a whole different level of just expertise and experience that you can combine and invest in together. It's a different kind of skin in the game versus just LPing a traditional investment fund. Because for those, you just send a check, you get your capital call, you wire your money, and that's it. You're investing on like one person or a small team. Whereas here, you're investing in the wisdom of the group. And you have the transparency that blockchain enables you. We know what the wallets are. We know what we have on them. We know how much we paid for them. Whether we're making money or not. If we got an airdrop, if we got any kind of perk, it's all there. And that's just not only a big plus, but it gives you the ability to execute rapidly because, we're at ETH Denver. You can do a lot of stuff, programming, execution of purchases. So for example, in NeonDAO, we have this thing called emoji consensus, where somebody says, let's buy 15 Ether worth of moonbirds and put up the vote on the channel. And if you get 15 yes on the emojis as a vote, we have a bot that automatically goes out and executes the trade. So you can automate a lot of that. And again, if I'm not involved that day, but then I go and check the wallet, I see, oh shit, we bought some, whatever NFT or whatever token. You also need less service providers. If any of you are like in an investment fund or have invested in one, you know how much back office there is, how much settlement, like all the kinds of providers that are really just take away the capital of the fund, right? You pay 2 and 20, and that 2% just goes into fees. With this, for example, for NeonDAO, we have Tribute Labs on the back end, and they do take care of all like the K1s and the like, but we're able to reduce a lot of just the overhead that you have in a traditional investment vehicle. Investment DAOs versus traditional funds, and I've already kind of like mentioned some of this, so I'll go quickly through them. Hive-mind decision-making versus centralized investment team. I'm an LP in a great Web3 fund, but really, the exposure that they can get being a team of 5, being a team of 6, is very minimal compared to NeonDAO. We have 69 members, I think, the last count, where we have eyes everywhere, we're users of the products, we are in the space. And so that's a huge plus. Also, aligned incentives versus your traditional funds and a higher degree of collaboration. For a traditional investment vehicle, you pay the management fee, and really they only make money if they're hitting their watermarks from their years prior. If you are in a fund that starts underperforming, that incentive to do really well and find good investments kind of starts going away. Whereas here, right, you have real big skin in the game. And so you're incentivized to continue to go out there and get that deal flow for the DAO, make sure that you are participating on the calls, that you're voting, that you're promoting the DAO. I'm wearing my NeonDAO hoodie. And this just increases the surface area. More opportunities, more deal flow, and better capital efficiency because, versus writing a $200,000 check to one VC fund or 2 VC funds, you have the ability to maybe participate in like 10 different of these DAOs or 3 of these different DAOs, which give you a lot more exposure to different projects, and you're not so concentrated, which I think gives you capital efficiency. Now, obviously, as we all know, there's a ton of challenges being this early in the space. The first one that always comes to mind with DAOs is just the risk of low participation. And by default, that turns into concentrated governance, right? If there's always the same people that turn into the calls, always the same people that vote, they're gonna start really just driving most of the investment decisions, which might not be the best risk management or portfolio strategy. Which leads me to the second point, right? Versus a traditional firm or fund or whatever, there's no real well-defined investment strategy. There's no real well-defined portfolio management strategy. We've had some of those, for example, at Neon, where we're really good at buying things. We're terrible at knowing when to sell them or how to sell them, right? Like we've done really well, and it's like, well, do we sell it? Do we not sell it? Like it's a challenge. And with challenges come opportunities, obviously. And then experimental tooling, right? I mentioned the emoji Discord consensus. And there's no real big tools for managing a portfolio. NeonDAO at the peak in Ether terms, before we started deploying, we had 6,000 Ether. So it's not a small amount of money, but the tooling might not be there yet. What are the solutions to this problem? So low participation. When you create these DAOs, you can require people to have a minimum threshold of participation, and if not, you kind of kick them out. If you don't want to participate, you don't want to be a part of this, well then you're gone. Hopefully the DAO is performing well enough that people are incentivized to stay. Or you can start rewarding people where, for example, you say, let's buy, I don't know, this is an idea, 10 NFTs from a good artist. And we are going to do a quarterly vote amongst the DAO to reward these 10 NFTs to the top 10 participants or top 10 more engaged people. And you can start deriving different ways of incentivizing participation, which I think will later on also come into play as this space developed. For the lack of portfolio and risk management strategies, I actually think there's a big opportunity there to include a lot of the quantitative trading strategies that we see in traditional finance. So one of the big things that happened over the last 10 years in Wall Street was, you use quantitative methods to determine your trade entry points and exit points, and also to automatically execute those trades. So maybe not in a venture portfolio, you can't really do that, but if you're doing tokens and NFTs, there's a lot of opportunity to apply those and develop them. And then for the experimental tooling, how do you fix that? Well, this is a big opportunity to build what is needed. I think these types of investment DAOs are going to have a lot of growth. And so if you're early on and you're discovering the issues that they have, you can start building the tooling. Tribute Labs has been doing that for its DAOs, and it's been a great success for them. So with that, I'm almost out of time here. I just wanted to, first and foremost, thank you again for being here. I know happy hour is already kicked off, so I really appreciate you for being here. You can get a hold of me through Twitter, I'm Sergito, or Telegram as well. And if you like Meebits, seize the Meebs, it's my meme project. I would love to have you as collectors. But if not, NeonDAO, you can also find us on Twitter at NeonDAO or Tribute Labs. They're also out there. Thank you so much for your time and your attention today.